me make one thing perfectly clear before I start this video. I don't like drama. I especially don't like internet drama and YouTube drama, of course. I don't like drama videos. I don't like drama channels. I find it hard to avoid sometimes because when something goes down, you want to at least stay informed, but oftentimes it's hard to trust people, and I just generally don't like drama videos because it always feels like people are just trying to capitalize on other people's misery, and that never sat well with me. And I just generally don't like internet drama because, well, I've stated reasons, but there was a time when I had to deal with a lot of that myself a long time ago, but that's a story for another day. So it's very difficult for me to make a video like this. This was not my first attempt at this video. I had to do many different takes. I had to sit on this for a while. I even did a full video that I had uploaded, but I decided to get rid of because I feel like I had gone into... I got too mad in that video, and I started, making it too much about me. I feel like I might not have, but that's what it came off to me, and I'd rather not, I'd rather not come off as, throwing myself into this whole situation, especially considering what had happened. And I just feel like sometimes my time is best spent, creating my content. Like I have 2 Rob Watches videos here that I was gonna film today. Hopefully I have time to film them. But I at this point I've gotten to where I feel like I do need to comment on this. So, for those of you who don't know, and honestly, I don't know how you wouldn't know at this point with so many people talking about it and social media blowing up and losing their mind over this. A couple weeks ago, Channel Awesome got into a bit of trouble. Some of the former contributors decided to sort of pool their information together, and they created a document stating reasons why they had left Channel Awesome and experiences that had happened to them during their time with Channel Awesome. And it wasn't really meant to be a malicious thing, or at least it didn't really come off that way. It felt more like they were just, for the sake of transparency, just, stating, just filing all this so that it's on record, something like that. And they also had a fan document as well. And I did contribute to that fan document. Unfortunately, the fan document is not around anymore. I don't know if there's anywhere it can be viewed aside from... I know people have done live readings of the document, and they did the fan document as well. So if you see my entry into that fan document in any of the live readings that have gone down, just know that what I said in that is true to the best of my recollection. It wasn't a huge thing like a lot of other stuff I've seen, but I did feel like it was something that was necessary to state. But anyway, this document, it was like 70 pages or maybe more at this point. I know they continued to add to it after it had first come out, where they talked to more contributors, and they, added, or former contributors rather, and they added to it, stating what had happened with them during their time, or rather their experiences with Channel Awesome. And again, I'm not going to go into detail about what the document says, mostly because of how long it is, and also because, again, the people online have just gone through this and analyzed it and picked it apart already. Again, there's live readings of it online, if you'd like to check that out. I will also leave a link to it in the description. Here's the abridged version. In the document, people were saying things about how they were not paid by Channel Awesome when they were promised to be paid, how they were treated as contributors, as non-paid, contributors to the site. Their reasons for leaving, which usually end in some pretty awful conditions. There was even going so far as to say there was verbal abuse, as well as sexual harassment, and child grooming, which, by the way, was a term I was not familiar with until this whole situation went down. And now that I know what that is, I'm actually questioning the actions of a lot of people I used to know. But again, that's going off topic. But anyway, this whole thing went down, and then Channel Awesome decided to apologize with like a 3-paragraph response that they posted to Twitter. If that is still around, I will also leave a link to that in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Basically, the one line everybody keeps pointing out in that apology pretty much sums up everything, where they said something like they regret to hear that they felt this way. So basically, it's like, oh, we treated you bad. Oh well, we regret to hear that. We regret to hear that you feel that way, because clearly apologizing is not something we're gonna do, because obviously we didn't do anything wrong. So that happened, and then everybody flipped out over that, and then they released a more long-form statement on the Channel Awesome website. Again, I will leave a link to that so you can check it out. Which, again, I'm not gonna do an analysis of this, because again, people have already done it. But wow, they made things 100 times worse by releasing that statement. And you can look it up for yourself. A lot of let me put it to you this way: the statement they made indicates that either they're stupid or they think we're stupid, or perhaps a combination of both. I don't know, but regardless, let's just say they made things a lot worse. And I think my favorite part of this, when I initially read it, and before people did some investigative journalism and found out some really, really bad things because of this document, because the statement rather, there's a part where Obscurus Lupa said before that when they were filming their anniversary videos, she said something along the lines of like, there was not a single person on that set that wasn't miserable, or something to that effect. And their response to that was this like really, really quick, like, short clip of Obscurus Lupa taken completely out of context, saying something like, it was a lot of fun, being a part of a movie, or something like that. It was like a 30 to 50 second clip. I don't remember where it came from. It might have come from something on her YouTube channel or something like that. I don't remember. The point is, it was taken out of context. It was an edited down clip, and they just embedded it underneath that statement, saying, the whole thing is formatted like, here's the accusation, here's a fact. And they said, well, this is a fact. Look, she said she liked being a part of the movie, so therefore there was no problems. I mean, I'm sure even if you have a horrible experience on a movie set, being a part of a movie might, there might be something to that, being a part of something bigger, but they still took it out of context. And this one, I know I'm focusing a lot on this one thing, but it really just sums up how much they're trying to cover their asses, and it's just not working. And it feels like something like a shifty politician would do when there's an election coming up and they want to try and make the other person look bad by comparison. And yeah, that was just awful what they did. And that wasn't even the most awful thing in that apology. But again, I'm not going to get into that. You can, again, find the live readings of that as well online. So I encourage you to check that out. So this was a shitstorm that started, and everyone is furious, and it caused almost all of their contributors to leave. Last I checked, it was down to Brad Jones and Guru Larry, who I don't know if Brad or left by now, but I know Guru Larry is kind of priding himself upon being the final person on Channel Awesome. Mostly because he said that nobody knew he was still a part of the site. So this was him trolling and saying that he wants to be noticed now, and by being the last person on the site, maybe someone will actually notice him, and it's just a big troll, and it's hilarious. But yeah, everybody left. Linkara left. FilmBrain left. All the newer contributors they had when they rebranded the site from That Guy with the Glasses to Channel Awesome, all of them have left, and it was just terrible. They lost so many subscribers to their YouTube channel, and it was an awful, awful situation for everyone involved. Now, here's the reason why I wanted to do this video, because there's another angle to this that not a lot of people are talking about. When this whole thing was going down, and I was doing my best to follow it the best I could, and find credible people to listen to, and as outraged as I was at this for all of the obvious reasons, there was always something else. There was this thing just eating at my brain. This little tiny detail in this whole situation that I couldn't let go, and it was driving me crazy, and I couldn't figure out exactly what that was. And then I finally realized what it was that was bothering me about this. And here's where I feel like in previous videos I got kind of selfish about this. It's because this whole situation, all of this behind the scenes stuff with Channel Awesome that came out, it really, it brought a new light to this company, this entity that a lot of people had looked up to, and a lot of people tried to emulate to certain effects. And I'm gonna be honest, I never got a whole lot of inspiration from Nostalgia Critic. Maybe a little bit here and there. Most of my inspiration came from like James Rolfe, and much later on like Brad Jones and Spoonie. Maybe even a little bit of like Linkara, Mars Girl, CR, and a little bit of the Critic as well. But I've tried to do my own thing, at least to the best I could, because there's only so many variations of person in front of camera, sitting in front of things, talking about media. And I tried to be like a fair critic. I tried to I don't know how good my content is. I can only do the best I can with what I'm given. I don't have a lot of money to spend on high-end equipment or studios, or even a place bigger than where I'm living now. But I always did my best, and Channel Awesome always, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, Channel Awesome always felt like, like a mentor, I've actually spoken with Doug and Rob many times. Channel Awesome felt like sort of a, lack of a better word, goal for a lot of people like me, because there was a whole community of reviewers and content creators, using the Channel Awesome blogs and using the forums and trying to get their content out there and trying to maintain some level of relevancy and maybe build a good enough audience so that, they feel like, what they're saying and what they're doing actually meant something. And a lot of people did look up to Channel Awesome as, a standard. They wanted to be like Channel Awesome. They wanted to get that level of success that people from Channel Awesome, specifically the Nostalgia Critic Doug Walker, was living with. And then this happened, and it feels like a total betrayal. It feels like, there was a whole group of people trying their best to do what they could, and in the end, it didn't matter, because their heroes who they looked up to and probably looked down upon them, like whenever someone tried to become part of Channel Awesome, whenever anybody, and I did this many times too, I have been met with multiple rejections from Channel Awesome to the point where I just stopped trying with them. And they were looking up to these people, seeing that, you know, if they can make it, maybe I can make it too. And now this happens, and if we find out that the people we looked up, or I don't want to say we because I didn't look up to Doug that much, the people that they looked up to turned out to be scumbags. And that's where that feeling was coming from, because now it feels like all the work that people like me and people like the other other, you know, bloggers and people that posted on the forums, it felt like we didn't matter anymore. And then again, it felt like we didn't matter at all. And I know this for a fact because there were many, many times where the people in the blog section felt like second-class citizens, because we never got we barely got any exposure from the forums or the blogs, and it felt like we were the sewer mutants from Futurama, that we were just these subterranean dwellers living in the bowels of the Channel Awesome website, and whenever one of us would dare try to, you know, hey, can I join your site, or try to, you know, gain some sort of momentum with their content, it always felt like, oh, no, you go back to the sewer, you go back down there with the unwashed. We up here are making art. We don't need you around us. That's how it felt the whole time, doing, you know, contributing to the Channel Awesome blogs, just going unnoticed, trying your best to put out the best content possible, and just receiving almost nothing for it. And I know for a fact that there were people that would strictly, like, ignore us because we were not the Nostalgia Critic. When Blip was going on, you know, when they were on bad times, when they were removing users during the time that people have called the Blipocalypse, there was two waves of this. There was two waves of this. The first one, they deleted a whole bunch of users who had used the Blip format, because Blip was great, because Blip had less restrictions than YouTube. There was no content ID crap, so you can, you know, express yourself in however fashion you want. If you wanted to use part of a song as your outro, you can do that. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Blip just decided to erase a whole bunch of people that were deemed not good enough, or whatever stupid reason they had originally come up with. And then the second wave happened, and I was part of that second wave of deletions. And pretty much, if you weren't part of Channel Awesome, you were deleted. And I know for a fact that there were people who were part of Channel Awesome that almost got deleted, and they had to, Channel Awesome had to step in and say, oh, no, save this person. They're with us. Meanwhile, the rest of us, you know, we could fuck off, I guess. And I remember somebody in the Channel Awesome forums posted saying that something along the lines of, the people that were deleted from Blip were probably not worth watching in the first place. That was a thing said by a person. And I think that really sums up the relationship between the Nostalgia Critic and everyone else in the forums. Because we were nobodies, and we were treated like nobodies. And how do you think it feels when someone like Doug, and I could say the other former Channel Awesome people in this, but I'm not going to drag them into this because I think they've been through enough. But Doug specifically, how do you think it feels when a guy who came from humble beginnings, I guess maybe not so humble, but let's say small beginnings. I think that's a better, you know, when he did that viral video of him quitting his job and then changing up his format to do, you know, more, you know, review styles and other content and stuff like that. How do you think it feels when someone like him gains so much success and then basically betrays the fans, betrays the community, and you find out that they were nothing but scumbags in the first place, and they didn't deserve any bit of that they received. Any bit of success that they had gotten, they don't deserve it. And it's all because of stuff like this. Not only the things that came to light from the former contributors, but also just their handling of this whole situation when you find out that they are just not... People have made arguments for Doug and Rob, and I can kind of see that, but Mike Michaud in particular just basically just fucked everybody over because of they does not care about people that looked up to the site, does not does not care about the former contributors, doesn't care about anybody except his bottom line, which his bottom line is let's just say it's probably going to be a lot smaller lately. I mean, they did take quite a hit. I don't know if it's going to completely break them, but I know there's still a lot of people that are still committed to watching Nostalgia Critic regardless, but they did lose a lot of subscribers to this. I don't know how it's going to affect the show. I don't know how they're going to bounce back from it. My prediction is that they're just going to try and keep moving forward and probably pretend like this never happened, but they seem to forget that, you know, the internet is forever. Once you put something on the internet, it ain't going away. It ain't going away so easily. So I think that's what really irritated me about this. Someone like me who works really hard to try and do what I do, you know, got kind of deleted from Blip because I wasn't good enough and nobody was there to save me. I tried Dailymotion, but they sucked. I've had probably easily the best success here on YouTube. And let me also bring something else to light here, because I need to get real for a moment. When I first started doing these videos, way back in 2009, way before YouTube, I've been on YouTube I think maybe 4 years now. At the time, I was unemployed, and I was in my final years of college, and while my schoolwork kept me busy, there were times where I needed something to do, and that's about the time I found you know Doug started to gain momentum as a creator, and I saw all these other people join the site, and I thought, you know, hey, maybe, you know, I can talk about something I really like, something, you know, I grew up on cartoons, I like cartoons, I'll review cartoons. And I did review other things that I've never reposted because I really don't know where I can where I can repost them. But that's kind of why I started doing it. I saw people talking about things they like and gaining notoriety for it, so maybe I can do that too. And I'll admit my content wasn't always the best. I did my best to improve wherever I could, but it was something I enjoyed doing. It helped me during a time when I was unemployed, and it continued to help me, you know, after college, and even when I went back to college for a little while and I was still unemployed and I was in and out of jobs because I live in an area where it's not very easy to hold a really good job. And I have a job right now, but it's out of my field and it's minimum wage, and it leaves me tired and it leaves me exhausted when I come home, and I hardly have the strength to even work on anything. And again, this is where I looked in the video and I was like, I'm making this about me. I probably shouldn't do that. But this is, you know, this is where I'm coming from. Well, I come from a working class family, and, you know, our whole lives we just felt like we felt like nobodies, and I felt like nobody, and I figured maybe, you know, some people will enjoy my content. And I also found out that they were getting paid to do it, and I figured, wow, maybe if I keep going, I can get a little extra cash on the side. I was never looking to get rich, like the argument a lot of people use when, you know, content creators talk about, you know, money. Like, oh, you're just trying to get rich. No, I'm not trying to get rich. I wanted to make money on the side. I was unemployed. I, at the very least, would have liked to have gotten to the point where I can make an honest living and, you know, fund my show and maybe pay my bills or something. And that brings me to the other side, the other thing I wanted to talk about. What happened with Channel Awesome really hurt the community. And it hurt the community in such a way that it's going to affect everyone. I recently saw somebody tweet at Mars Girl saying, they've not only unsubscribed from Channel Awesome, but they've unsubscribed from her as well, because they're kind of done with this whole internet reviewer thing, and they've just kind of left. And it's because this whole situation has left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And from this point forward, there are going to be people who are just going to abandon ship because they don't want to hear about another scandal like this, or they don't want to be a part of another scandal like this. I can't say I blame them, but what happened with Channel Awesome, affects everyone else. It again affects us little people that we're trying to get our brand out there and trying to build a community. And I don't know, maybe I'm just not maybe I'm making too much of this than it really is, but I feel like, not just Channel Awesome lost subscribers and viewers, a lot of other people are gonna as well, because Channel Awesome had become kind of the standard. And if you can't trust the standard, who can you trust? I mean, people might be looking at me from the other end of this camera going, can I trust you not to screw over, the view that I have of you? And what am I going to say? Yeah, I'm a nice guy. They're not going to believe that, because really, how can they trust me? How can we trust anybody now? And that really is, I think, what really summed up this whole situation is just, they not only screwed themselves, they not only screwed their former contributors, but I think they've screwed everybody. I've actually, I was under the mindset that if I can't send my stuff to Channel Awesome and have them pick me up, if they had ever said, if they had ever approached me prior, even though I stopped doing that, I probably wouldn't have said no to them. Well, even before this, I was like, you know what, I'm not willing to be part of Channel Awesome. I probably dodged a bullet there, as did many people who had aspirations to join them. Because while it would have been nice to get that exposure, while it would have been nice to work alongside other very talented people, the stress and the damage done probably wouldn't have been worth it. So I think that's about all I have to say on that situation. This video has gone on for a while, and I think I've made my point by now. It'll be interesting to see how they recover from this. It'll be interesting to see if, there is even a future for other smaller content creators like me. And I am small by comparison. It takes me a year to gain 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And I really don't know why that is. I kind of gave up on figuring I tried to make improvements everywhere I could. And I actually did see a small influx of subscribers recently. I don't know if it was as a result of people abandoning ship from Channel Awesome and trying to find content elsewhere or what, but thanks for joining me if you're one of those people. Yeah, it is, who knows how this is going to affect everybody, but it has left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And we'll just have to wait and see where this goes. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this until I can't do it anymore. I have 2 reviews I got to film today. I still got, I want to make it to 100 episodes of Cartoon Clip Show at the very least, and I got to get working on that because I have a very busy year ahead of me, and I have to really work on that. Although, before I go, I actually debated whether or not I was going to make this a separate video. But, you know what? I think I will make this a separate video because this has gone on long enough. I want to show something here. I was cleaning up the house recently, and I found this. This is an issue of Entrepreneur magazine. This is the December 2009 issue of Entrepreneur. Why is this relevant? Well, because Doug actually was featured in this issue of Entrepreneur Magazine. I don't know if you can find this particular issue digitally online. You may be able to. I actually took pictures of the article in this, and I will post them to Twitter after I upload these videos. But I thought it'd be fun to maybe do a little reading of what the article says about Channel Awesome in this issue. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me if you're one of the people that abandoned ship from Channel Awesome. And stay tuned for my next video where I read the little article that featured people from Channel Awesome. So, stick around for that.